Here's your wrestling news for November 20th, 2020. And your headlines for today include: huge spoiler on WWE's plan for Survivor Series team. Former AEW employee posts detailed accounts of mistreatment in AEW. Cody Rhodes is accused. Davey Boy Smith Jr. drops some major news on his WWE return. Dax Harwood trolls Vince McMahon after FTR are named best tag team in the world. Why fans are hating The Undertaker after 30 long years. Major clue about who attacked Jon Moxley during AEW Dynamite. WWE has fired multiple people in charge of storyline continuity. Legitimate injury suffered during WWE NXT this week. Andrade breaks silence about Zelina Vega's release and she responds. WWE sends Raw superstar back to NXT brand. Details of the Young Bucks and Shawn Michaels backstage meeting revealed, and more. We are kicking off with Survivor Series, as SmackDown's men's team will consist of Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and a yet-to-be-named person, though fans nearly saw the fifth man be named last week. This is your official spoiler warning for tonight's SmackDown, so if you don't want spoilers, feel free to skip the next 30 seconds. According to Fightful Select, Big E was planned to be inserted into the Survivor Series team for SmackDown on the November 13th episode, but since the show ran long, they cut his segment out. It's still planned for Big E to be the fifth man in the match, and though it wasn't said outright, fans shouldn't be surprised if the former tag team champion earns the final spot tonight ahead of Survivor Series this Sunday. It was also said that the decision was made weeks ago to put him on the Survivor Series team, and whilst the alleged huge push rumored for Big E hasn't come just yet, hopefully tonight's edition of the Blue Brand is the start of something new. We've got some concerning news from AEW next, as though the company has been praised as an alternative to WWE, it seems things aren't too different backstage. Recently, video editor Louis Benson worked for AEW and has now claimed that the environment backstage wasn't as welcoming as the company makes themselves out to be. Speaking about Cody Rhodes, Benson said that the former TNT champion didn't like him, thinking he was some sort of stalker fan, despite their interactions being pleasant early on. He added, "Cody apparently requested that I not be present when he was in our building, which led to me either being made to leave or stuck hidden in a room when he came around, having to ask if I could come out to use the restroom." Benson added that he was told he'd be fired if Cody asked them to, meaning he stayed out of sight and wasn't allowed to talk to any talent, even those he'd been friendly with beforehand. Benson was reportedly ordered to take down a Facebook post when he announced that he got the job, even though he had nothing but praise for AEW in the post, describing the company as the best wrestling production team in the game. After this incident, Benson claims that the company forced him to delete his entire social media on the spot so that they could watch him do so, and was mocked when he questioned the legality of what AEW was making him do, and his disappearance from social media caused his friends and family to grow concerned that something had happened to him. As if that wasn't bad enough, Benson claims that he struggled to get the proper credit for his work, and that when QT Marshall suggested him to edit something when other editors were busy, Rhodes dismissed him, saying, "Really? You're suggesting Louis to me?" Benson had nothing but good things to say about Marshall, and added that in February, Rhodes said he now liked Benson, but said that a 45-second conversation in 8 months wasn't enough, and questioned if this was a way to backtrack on how he'd been treated by AEW. He added that though some referred to him as a producer because of his many jobs backstage, he never did so, though he still got heat for being called a producer when that wasn't his official job title, despite doing 80% of the work. When the ongoing global situation happened, Benson lost a ton of his work in their studio, saying that he was now receiving no AEW work, with his last piece of work being a couple of sketches for The Librarians. When he was told that someone he'd shared a working space with was showing symptoms, Benson quarantined and requested additional time off when his girlfriend was exposed, which became an issue with the company. Though some fans online were quick to dismiss Benson's claims, the video editor provided text message screenshots that prove that he was told to avoid being in the same place as Cody Rhodes. Benson also proved his story about being told to take down a social media post with the person who made the order, saying that this happened on the day of one of the company's pay-per-views. AEW has always said that they are a family environment, but clearly that wasn't the case for Benson, who said he was working 60-hour weeks just to stay employed, and we'll have to see how the company reacts to these huge claims of what Benson called a year of bullying and gaslighting by AEW. Now, WWE superstars were recently told to quit all third-party deals with platforms like Twitch and Cameo, but it seems that rule doesn't apply to The Undertaker. The dead man is now doing Cameo videos which cost $1,000, and he's only doing $30 to celebrate his 3 decades in WWE. Of the $30,000 he'll make, a quarter will go to Cameo, and then The Undertaker is apparently leaving the platform. Typically, Cameo videos aren't very long, but hopefully he'll put a little something extra in them for the fans willing to spend $1,000 to hear from him. Not only that, but these videos will be recorded the day of Survivor Series this Sunday, and given his legendary career, we're sure there's more than 30 fans willing to pay the price for a personalized message from the Phenom. More WWE news, and the company has hired plenty of names from their past back, and now Davey Boy Smith Jr. could be making his way back as well. Whilst speaking to Sports Illustrated, Smith spoke about how his 2020 plans were changed thanks to what's happened, and also addressed a WWE return, saying, "I think it's definitely a possibility. In addition to the WWE Hall of Fame, I was also supposed to be touring regularly with All Japan Pro Wrestling. I had a big opportunity with their Champion Carnival tournament in April, but I couldn't travel to with the pandemic. I have a lot to think about and a lot of options to weigh, but I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires in my future. A return to WWE is very possible." WWE could certainly find a great role for Smith, but they need to figure out the best way to mark his return first, and though nothing is official, it seems that Smith will be back in a WWE ring in the near future. More from AEW, as FTR were recently crowned with the top spot in PWI's inaugural Top 50 Tag Teams list, an achievement they really want Vince McMahon to see. On Instagram, Dax Harwood shared a photoshopped image of himself, Cash Wheeler, and McMahon himself standing in an art gallery, looking at the PWI cover where they were crowned the top team. Unsurprisingly, this gained a ton of immediate attention, though we're not sure if the chairman has seen it, and despite WWE trying so hard to keep the revival down for some reason, that's clearly not the case for the literal top guys in AEW. Now recently, WWE sent out a job offer for a new lead writer for Raw and SmackDown, and now we know why the position is available. Ringside News is reporting that the term lead writer is really meant for someone who's in charge of the company's continuity, and that the company has been looking for someone to manage their show's continuity since March 2019. When Ringside News asked about the position, their source said that the role was filled multiple times, but the people who become lead writers never last. We're not sure why WWE have been hiring and firing so many people in creative over the past year and a half, but we imagine the ongoing global situation hasn't helped matters. At this time, it's unclear what the company has in mind for whoever their next lead writer will be, but whoever it is probably won't be around for long. Over to NXT next, as Arturo Ruas is seemingly back with the Gold brand. On this week's show, Kushida beat Ruas despite the latter being called up to Raw earlier this year. It wasn't noted on commentary if Ruas's return was a one-off or a long-term deal, but it certainly seems like he's back full-time. It was previously reported that Paul Heyman called Ruas up to Raw during his time as executive director, but the superstar was never used on the Red brand. Unfortunately, fans will have to wait to see where Ruas goes next, as he was injured during his match with Kushida, with Fightful reporting that it's believed he suffered a torn biceps. The fact that Ruas recorded extra content for WWE Digital, which ultimately wasn't used, does seem to hint that his return to NXT is more than a one-off, but now we'll have to wait and see where he goes next after this unfortunate injury. One person fans won't be seeing on any brand is Zelina Vega, who was fired after supporting unionization and refusing to stop on Twitch and OnlyFans, and her former partner Andrade has weighed in. On Instagram, the former NXT champion shared a photo of themselves posing Tranquilo style with a simple "thank you" caption, which meant a lot to Vega. Responding, Vega said that working with Andrade was one of the highlights of her career, both professionally and personally. Speaking of social media, the SAG-AFTRA Twitter account recently let everyone know that they've spoken to Vega about some powerful stuff, and with their support, the former superstar could still have a huge impact in the wrestling world out of the ring. More NXT news next, as after TakeOver War Games was announced this week, we know what match will headline the December 6th show. This week's episode of NXT ended with an all-out brawl pitting Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch against the returning Undisputed Era, and on Twitter it was confirmed that these two teams will face off in War Games. This is clearly a huge match fitting the main event spot of the show, and time will tell what other matches are announced in the few weeks before December 6th. We are going back in time to the first ever edition of Tough Enough, as that's when Nydia earned a contract to become a WWE superstar. Speaking to Fightful recently though, Nydia made it clear that she has no desire to return to the ring and actually wanted to quit WWE before her 2004 release, but feared breaching her contract. She also revealed that the independent dates she took, such as in Australia's World Series Wrestling and overseas with TNA, were done so she could visit new places, and she did this for a year before retiring. Now a mother, Nydia left wrestling to become an accomplished chef, but don't expect her to be dishing out the pain in a WWE ring ever again. Two people fans can see in the ring, albeit not in WWE, are the Young Bucks, who recently spoke to the Wrestling Inc. Daily podcast to promote their new book. One story in the book, Killing the Business From Backyards to the Big Leagues, revealed how the pair first met Shawn Michaels, back when they were doing some extra work for WWE. Describing their first interaction as surreal, Matt Jackson said on the podcast how Marty Jannetty had put in a good word for them when speaking to Michaels, and that the first time they met HBK, it was whilst they were in catering. Matt added that Shawn was even able to get them a bonus for their work as extras, and it's impressive to see just how far the Bucks have come, and the small but significant role HBK has had in making them what they are today. More from AEW as Jon Moxley was attacked backstage during Dynamite, and now we may know who did the deed. Online, fans noticed how awkwardly Moxley's legs were positioned, and one fan, Reddit user WGSmeister2002, pointed out that this positioning is very similar to the tarot card The Hanged Man. Though this could be putting Adam Page as the prime suspect, it could just be a coincidence, and it'll be interesting to see what other clues come forth after this week's assault. Now it's known that WWE must soon leave the Amway Center, and now we have confirmation of where the main roster will be next month. After weeks of speculation, the WWE confirmed that the Thunderdome is moving to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, and that the first show from the new venue will be the December 11th episode of SmackDown. Given that WWE's lease in the Amway Center ends on November 25th and they must vacate the venue by December 5th, that also means that it's likely that 1 week of Raw and SmackDown will be held in the Capitol Wrestling Center, as we've previously reported. WWE are still hoping that they can have live fans in some form at the 2021 Royal Rumble, and with Tropicana Field now theirs for the foreseeable future, those plans could soon come true. And finally, we're entering the music world as 2 Chainz's new music video for Tony sees the rapper hit an RKO out of nowhere, which caught the attention of Randy Orton. On Instagram, the Viper commented that 2 Chainz should hit him up for his next video so he can help with the rapper's RKO form, and time will tell whether the rapper busts out the finisher in his next music video.